A special thank you to each of our subscribers who make this channel possible. Here's today's story. In a groundbreaking revelation from his new book, Voice for the Voiceless, the Dalai Lama has asserted that his successor will be born outside of China, a statement that significantly escalates the ongoing dispute with Beijing over the future of Tibet. The 89-year-old spiritual leader of Tibetan Buddhism, who has lived in exile in India for over 6 decades, has long been a symbol of the Tibetan struggle for autonomy and cultural preservation. This latest declaration comes as Tibetans around the globe express their desire for the continuation of the Dalai Lama lineage after his eventual passing. Previously, the Dalai Lama had suggested that the line of spiritual leaders might end with him, but he now emphasizes that his reincarnation is essential for maintaining the mission of compassion and spiritual leadership that the Dalai Lama represents. He describes the free world as encompassing locations outside of China, marking a notable shift from his earlier statements, which only hinted at the possibility of reincarnation outside Tibet. The Dalai Lama writes, "Since the purpose of a reincarnation is to carry on the work of the predecessor, the new Dalai Lama will be born in the free world so that the traditional mission of the Dalai Lama, that is, to be the voice for universal compassion, the spiritual leader of Tibetan Buddhism, and the symbol of Tibet embodying the aspirations of the Tibetan people, will continue." This announcement is particularly poignant given the Dalai Lama's history. He fled Tibet at the age of 23 in 1959 following a failed uprising against the Chinese communist regime led by Mao Zedong. The Chinese government has consistently maintained that it will have the authority to select the next Dalai Lama, a claim that the current Dalai Lama has firmly rejected, stating that any successor chosen by Beijing would not be respected by the Tibetan people. The Chinese government has labeled the Dalai Lama as a separatist, dismissing his influence and contributions to the Tibetan cause. In a recent press briefing, a spokesperson for China's foreign ministry reiterated this stance, calling the Dalai Lama a political exile engaged in anti-China separatist activities under the cloak of religion. Beijing's position on Tibet is unwavering, asserting that the Dalai Lama's statements cannot alter the objective fact of Tibet's development and prosperity under Chinese rule. The Chinese government has also expressed a willingness to negotiate with the Dalai Lama, provided he acknowledges Tibet and Taiwan as inalienable parts of China, a proposal that has been categorically rejected by the Tibetan parliament in exile, based in India. Supporters of the Dalai Lama, including prominent figures like actor Richard Gere and former U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, continue to rally for the Tibetan cause, especially as concerns about the Dalai Lama's health grow following recent knee surgery. Despite these challenges, the Dalai Lama remains optimistic about his longevity, previously stating that he hopes to live to 110. In his book, he reveals that he has received numerous petitions over the past decade from a diverse array of Tibetan voices, including senior monks and lay people, all urging him to ensure the continuation of the Dalai Lama lineage. This tradition holds that the soul of a senior monk is reincarnated in the body of a child upon their death, a belief that underscores the significance of the Dalai Lama's role in Tibetan Buddhism. The current Dalai Lama was recognized as the reincarnation of his predecessor at the tender age of 2. Voice for the Voiceless is described by the Dalai Lama as an account of his interactions with Chinese leaders over the past 70 years and is set to be released in the US by William Morrow and in the UK by Harper Nonfiction, with plans for publication in India and other countries to follow. As the Dalai Lama approaches his 90th birthday in July, he has indicated that he will provide further details regarding his succession at that time. He poignantly reflects on the current state of Tibet, stating that it remains in the grip of repressive communist Chinese rule, and asserts that the struggle for Tibetan freedom will persist no matter what, even beyond his lifetime. He expresses confidence in the Tibetan government and parliament in exile to continue advocating for the rights of the Tibetan people. The right of the Tibetan people to be the custodians of their own homeland cannot be indefinitely denied, nor can their aspiration for freedom be crushed forever through oppression, he writes. The Dalai Lama's statements, particularly regarding his successor and the future of Tibetan Buddhism, are sure to reverberate through the international community and further complicate the already fraught relationship between Tibetans and the Chinese government. That's all for this story. We upload videos every day covering many different subjects, So hit that subscribe button to stay informed. Thanks for watching.